So, Derek.
Yeah.
Hey, man. What is today? Thursday?
Thursday.
Tomorrow this will publish.
Yep.
And you've been feeling like crap.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had some stuff happening. Mm-hmm. And you and I together, sometimes when we're pushing through difficult times and we don't really know where we're going to end up and we don't know how we're going to get there, what's the best thing that you and I can do?
Oh, I have an idea.
What is it?
Cannonball!
Let's go! Woo! Man!
Yeah.
Look, I just need the intro music to get me going.
I'm going to have nice radio voice today.
Ah, I like it. And I'm going to have a loaded tea.
Loaded tea.
Rhythm section.
By 5 Nutrition.
And it's on my left boobie.
Nice shirt.
Thank you, man.
I like it.
I got a friend. Hey, you know what I was thinking, though? If you wanted to see this friend or hear him, you could go to SRP Studios LLC.com.
That's right. Also, learn more about Coach at motivatewithcoachcamp.com.
We go and get motivated sometimes. Hey, and if people like that kind of motivation, and they say to themselves, this has really got me in a good mood, I want to be positive, where could they go?
Positive Voices.
Ah, that's a group. That's on Facebook.
That's on Facebook. The link is in the description, by the way.
In that description.
Also, someone like Maria Chu, could other people like her could email us.
They could.
At cannonballinglife@gmail.com.
Woo! That was good.
We will be reading Maria's email here shortly.
We will do that.
And
hey, send us some money. Man. Motivate with Coach Camp Venmo. All right?
You guys want...
Do it.
You guys don't want me sad, do you?
No, I don't.
We don't want a sad Derek.
I don't want sad Derek.
Derek's got bills to pay.
They do.
In the studio, so
let's make that happen, dude. We are non-profit. All right. And no profit at all. That's actually the we're the most non of the non there is. So what are we going to talk about today, man?
Man, well, like I said, I want to read Maria's email here before we get things super fast launch. But we got your keynote.
Yes.
Your video that you put out there was awesome.
Thank you.
We just had another Hope Center event that I think went well. Something about an AI lawyer. That sounds fascinating. There. We got the Pope.
Yep.
Got a story about a lady in a waiting room.
Yes.
On a lollipop.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
So that sounds like smacking in the background.
So bad.
And then Deion Sanders and his son.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to hit all of these things.
There's a lot of stuff.
I hate pre-promoting and then not getting to them all. But
we'll try to get there.
Welcome to the show, everyone.
Hey, how's it going?
So let's get to the email.
Okay, do it.
So I want to encourage others to email.
Yes.
So if you email us, we will read it on the show.
How about that?
All right. So this came from Maria Chu. Mm-hmm. I hope I'm saying her last name correctly.
It is. It's just like and then Chu.
Chu. Mm-hmm. Just watch y'all's episode of Excellent Times and wanted to say that it was like a trip down memory lane for me. From the Zoo Talk to the old 90s games, loved listening in. Coach Camp is my AEMT lab instructor.
Stands for Advanced.
Southwest Advanced EMT lab instructor. Been following and supporting him since 2021.
True story.
Derek, I think you're awesome too.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
That's correct assessment.
And y'all continue to share and do great things, Maria Chu. Thanks so much for chiming in, Maria.
Yes, thank you.
And I got to meet her.
Yes.
At the Hope Center. And it came just after she sent me a friend request on Facebook. Yep. I was like, hey, you just sent me a request.
I've seen that person. It's weird. You're not AI.
It all connected. So it was nice meeting you, Maria.
Yep.
Thanks for coming to the Hope Center conference. And please, y'all, email us. Cannonballinglife@gmail.com.
Just take your fingers and go, and then hit send.
Biggity bang, send it. You can do it on your phone.
Oh, I forgot about that.
You can do it while you're using the restroom.
Yeah. Voice message it so that if it messes it up, it'll be even funnier. That's what I think. My brother used to do that all the time.
What's up, Coach?
Hey, man, look, a lot of things popping. It's so funny because from one week to the next, it's like there's two sides of it. Sometimes I think, man, time's flying. And the other time I'm like, man, I did all that last week. So it's packing it in. We're packing it in. But I'm not complaining. In fact, if anything, I'm appreciating that we can do this because it's tough. People may not understand. They probably do, but they may not. That it actually is a concerted effort to get all the things done that you and I do with all the different organizations and things that we do it with, but then find time to sit down for about an hour
for this one
to do this.
Yeah,
on a regular basis.
It could have easily been canceled this week.
It could have been. We had a lot of things happening.
I got hit with some kind of cold crud a couple days ago. In fact, I canceled on you. We were supposed to film this on Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's like, Coach, can't do it, man.
Yeah, you had the funkitis. I heard your raspiness through your text. I'm reading it and I'm like, oh, he sounds like horrible. You should probably cancel.
All the letters were squiggly.
And I'm like, whoa, I didn't know you could text that.
I wanted to cancel today. I really did. But I was like, no, get showered, shave your face and head,
put on some underwear,
clean up,
do that,
and get to the studio because I'm way behind on things. Yeah. And one of the benefits of being an entrepreneur, self-employed person, is you have flexibility in your life that you don't normally get.
That's true.
When you're working a 9 to 5. With that said,
you don't have sick time.
It's easy to push things. Oh, I'm good today. Yes, I have 10 things I could do today, but they're not 24-hour urgent. So I can move them a day. Yeah. And then you do that a second day, and then you're like, oh, boy.
Now you're way
behind. And emails and this, that, and the other thing. And
self-discipline.
So I'm like, get your butt to the studio. You're not canceling on Coach. We're not missing a week.
That's it.
That's the other thing. I was like, we have not missed a week since we ramped back up late last year. It's been nonstop every week. I'm like, no.
I think the numbers show that with a lot of more appreciation, people tuning in regularly. I told you, and you've seen it now, there's a lot of comments that come to me about this show in particular, the Cannonball show. People like that. You know, the seriousness of the Motivate with Coach Camp show that people chime in about, the stories are always about my guest. But I think that there is an element that people enjoy and like about learning about you and I.
For sure.
And then realizing, wow, these two guys, they are astronomically as goofy as I would expect them to be. So, to see that.
I'm sure there was a point, early on, before Motivate with Coach Camp was on video. So early on, I remember saying, Coach, we need to do an episode where I interview you.
Yes.
Because the audience needs to know more about the host.
Yeah.
They're coming.
I remember that.
They're coming to hear your voice and your ability to help someone else tell their story. Regardless of you talking about yourself, you are very good at interjecting your thoughts and rebuttals, or, the way you can pivot a conversation. You're putting your 2 cents in and your thoughts on things. So they're learning more about you that way too.
Sure. But,
you're not going to sit down and soak up your guest's time by just talking about yourself.
Absolutely not.
But there is a place for that.
Yeah, and that's this place.
Yeah. Well, that early episode that we did for Motivate, that was, and then that kind of started like our relationship on the mic.
That's true.
We realized we had a lot of fun, and then I would make some special appearances here and there, and then we started this thing. But,
hey, funny thing, Maria Chu, the woman that you just spoke of, she actually sent me a message a while back. She's like, hey, have you ever thought about having someone interview you and talk about why you started Motivate with Coach Camp? I said, hey, I did. You just got to go back through the archives.
Hey,
it's in there.
It might be time to redo it.
Maybe
revisit
so.
Because you have new audience members.
Thumb it.
You interviewed me for The Real Hernando. We did one of those episodes. That's where true. I wanted to update or just talk about certain things, and rather than just do it solo, I brought you in to help mitigate, facilitate sure. that for me.
Yeah.
The Rhythm Section podcast, me and Jeff have talked about it. We haven't done it yet, but like we're nearing 100 episodes, by the way, and we've yet to really give our audience that much of ourselves. We interject. People are getting to know us and our personalities for sure. Yeah, we let that shine.
Oh, no doubt about it.
But
Jeff should come in here on a Cannonball show. I don't know why he's waiting. What is he waiting on? I'm calling him out.
He's waiting on me to invite him.
J-Dub, I'm inviting you. Get your tail up in her. That man getting his heel out.
J-Dub.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
I don't want to derail too much here.
Okay.
Let's talk about some of the things we brought here. So let's quickly, Hope Center.
Yeah,
Since
Hope
we
Center.
just mentioned Maria meeting her there. Hope Center was at Brown Baptist. By the way, 2 campuses, as I learned. I went to the wrong one first. There's one on Sweeney and Goodman, but there's also another one on State Line. So I walk in.
Where's everybody at?
There's a bunch of people walking around. I'm like,
turnout.
okay. But everyone's being nice and helping or wanting to be helpful. Hey, can I help you with something? Where do you need to go? And I said, I'm here for the Hope Center conference. Do you all know Stacy Dodd?
No.
I don't think so, sir. And then finally someone was like, I think you're at the other campus.
Snap. Hey, can I share something?
Yeah.
I know it's interjecting in the middle of this, but you just rung a bell. Ding, ding. And I don't know, is there a ding in there?
Well, of course.
Oh. Thank you. Once upon a time, I went to a birthday party of a friend of mine that lived in Olive Branch, and I didn't write the address down. They explained this back in the day before. You just like, hey, take a left at the such and such, go down 2 rights. And I did that, and we're driving down the road. There's all these cars, and I thought, well, this has to be it. And there's like birthday balloons. We go inside, we sit down, and there are a whole bunch of people. I'm not even making this up. Alicia, fly swatter girl.
Can you quit slinging that nasty fly swatter around?
Yes, I will. And she is with me, and we're sitting there. She's like, do you recognize anyone? And I'm like, not really at all. And I went up and asked somebody, I said, is this Joey Edwards' house? I'm like, we don't know him. I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. I was at the wrong birthday party. It'd have been best if I'd have just left the present and just let's go. Well, I was not so embarrassed. I think probably Alicia was, but I was just like, that's cool. Well, we're going to go find another one. Then we'll look for other cars. So you're at the wrong place. You come down, and then, hey,
and then I show up.
And you were there way in time.
Well, that's why I like going to things early for these reasons.
You weren't late.
But yeah, so showed up. It went well. We set up a nice station to film.
Yeah.
And got my editor on them now. It was great. Great speakers. I don't have them all in front of me, but you had the mayor of South Haven, Mayor Musselwhite, the sheriff of DeSoto County,
Debbie King, president of
Thomas Tuggles.
Thomas Tuggle.
And then Debbie King is the chamber. Yeah, a bunch of great stuff. It was fun.
Great speakers. The kids are always insightful at the end. Really good. I appreciate you hanging out. You're a part of this now.
Yeah, yes, I am.
It's a good time.
I'm there to the bitter end.
You got to listen to me talk. We presented Stacy and Mr. McKinney with awards, community leadership awards.
They were pleasantly surprised. It must have been interesting to keep that a secret from them.
Yeah, it wasn't too hard.
Since they're on the board, right?
I didn't tell anybody.
You kept it all to yourself.
Yeah, sometimes I do that.
And then the night before, though, before the Hope Center, which was this past Saturday,
right?
You did a keynote.
I did.
At a graduation. Tell us how that went.
I tell you what, man, I've done a few, but hands down, this was the biggest crowd. It was at Longview Baptist Church is where they had the graduation. And that place was packed. The balcony was packed. So it's full house. And they said, well, the guy comes up to me, the president comes up to me. He's like, hey, look, keep it around 10 minutes or less. I was like, that's not a problem. I told him. I said, I already talked about that with you. Remember, I said, you want to be between 5 and 10 minutes. You know?
Not too short.
Too short. People are like, remember.
You want to bring value, but not drag it on.
But when I got up there, I started the speech with, I can assure you of this. There's a few things, but I can assure you, I will not be boring. And when I went and sat down, one of the other teachers on the panel up there at the front, she's like, I can assure you, you were not boring.
You were not boring.
You were not boring.
And you tagged it with the same tag you give every podcast episode.
Coach.
Camp. Out. You know, it was great. And you posted it on Facebook, so I sat and watched the whole thing. And I just love that how you have this steady stream of consciousness in your head, Coach. It's what makes you be able to do what you do. And you can just speak on the fly.
Yeah.
And because of that, you can just feel the emotion and it's genuine and it's really good.
Yeah, I guess it is. A lot of times I say stuff, I don't know I said it, and then I don't remember saying it, and then I look back and I'm like, oh, I said that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a stream of consciousness that's unconscious.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing.
It's organized chaos.
I think it could be. I think that's a good way to describe it. So, great weekend, lots of stuff, and that goes into what we were talking about, lots of activities. Now, I'm going to blend that with one of my topics.
Okay.
Shall I?
Do it.
Okay. So, I need an AI version of me. I think if we could AI us, is that a thing? Is that too many AI us? Us is not actually. Yeah, so you could make that into an acronym probably. Yeah. But I think if we could duplicate us, it would make our lives a little simpler, a little less chaotic at times. Yeah. And a guy actually figured this out. Man, now, this is pretty amazing. This is a good story, and you can look it up. Don't get me to tell specifics because every time I'm sharing something with you, understand if there was a level of 1 to 10, 10's the most interested, I'm usually at a 3. So my ADD kicks in. I'm like, I was kind of interested, but I remembered these things. I took a note. This guy in New York, he's before the judge. What is he up there for? I have no idea. But he's got a representation of a lawyer, and the lawyer is presenting to the judge his case. What is the case about? I have no idea.
It's on Zoom call, split screen.
Yes.
So lawyer is visible.
Lawyer is visible on a TV screen.
Yeah.
So, or a computer screen. I'm saying TV like it's 1994. So, computer screen. And
on the tube.
On the tube. And the lawyer's talking, and for whatever reason, and I don't know what it was that caused the judge to recognize a glitch, but she questions the defendant as to, is this lawyer real? And the guy's like, well, that's my lawyer. it's AI. He had generated a human face, AI intelligence discussing his case to the judge, pleading his case, which of course the judge throws out and she's pissed off. But I'm thinking to myself, that's one genius and two kind of diabolical, because you have to outsmart a computer computer lawyer that probably has this algorithm rambling through its components, figuring out all the good argument sides.
Man, that's just wild.
It is super wild.
So were there moments where the judge asked the lawyer something and then the lawyer then answered? Was there back and forth?
So the correspondence, I only saw a clip, so I didn't see the whole thing. I saw a clip. But there was a back and forth. There was a discussion, a question, and the AI voice is talking. And for whatever reason, the judge recognizes this isn't real, and that's why she asked the question, is this a real person? And he's like, no, it's AI. Well, then I started thinking, you know what? They seem smart, but we're living in the past, not the future. You got to go back to 1980 if you really want to know where the real AI came from, and that's Max Headroom.
The OG.
He was the OG. Ding, 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 ding. He'd be like, I am ready to go. I'm like, well, I don't know why he's glitching so much. They had to work the bugs out. But Max Headroom was a fake reporter that was on MTV.
That's right. He was famous.
Very famous. So much so I remember him from 1980.
Yes. What's the term? Pop culture icon.
Yeah.
And he was on Back to the Future. Made an appearance on Back to the Future, the first one. But back to this fake lawyer.
Yeah.
Man, like the fact that it was set up where the AI lawyer was able to take in what the lawyer is telling him and
immediately
process and come up with an answer is terrifying.
It is like our robot.
Because that's going to get more and more real.
Oh, no doubt about it.
And
Elon Musk was saying that it's going to replace the best surgeons in the next 5 years.
Yeah, God.
AI will be able to do surgery better than the best surgeons in 5 years.
Well, some of these robots you see out there now are insane.
I know.
They're insane.
I feel like somebody's going to be playing this thing back 10 years from now, like they didn't know they were talking about things that were really going to happen.
The end of the world
is
is here as we know it.
You know, it's so funny, too. So many things that are spoken of at a point in time where something might sound too futuristic to be real suddenly become real. And you think, was that a prophecy? You know, George Orwell wrote the book 1984 in 1948. Who knew Big Brother was actually going to be our phones?
It's there.
Man, Big Brother's already there.
People say someday we're going to get microchipped.
That's the word. I think it's already there. It's
already there. It's just an external microchip that we put in our back pocket.
That is so accurate. Where is that creepy music you play sometimes?
This one. Or this one.
That's the one.
And it makes me very sad.
It can be. Now, I will tell you, there's always the yin and yang. You think about everything that's ever came about in life, invention-wise. There's always been the positive side of something, but it's always blended with the negative. And I think that actually speaks to the universe. It's got like the little devil, little Jesus on both sides. They talking back and forth.
Yeah.
So it's just which one's going to win, right? You know, social media can be a really good thing for some.
Yep, absolutely.
Really bad for others.
Very bad.
I mean, people have started startup businesses on TikTok making tons of money off of a product that they created from their living room.
Yeah.
And now here they are making it big.
Big time.
There's
some people that make awesome podcasts and use social media to promote it.
Yes.
But don't make millions of dollars.
No, that's me. Yes.
That's us. Yeah.
I did find out something, though. I say find out. All right. So I've researched this a little bit because I started kind of wondering. I'd seen some things. You and I are in the top 10% of podcasters.
We are, huh?
We are, in America at least. I can't say worldwide. But in American podcasts, I'm on all these different groups. They say anyone that makes it past 10 episodes is in an elite group.
Yeah.
And anyone that has 50 or more downloads off of each episode is in another percentage. And then there's like this for however many you get in a year time. So when you kept going, we're like in the top, you and I together, because you got the rhythm section, you got the other things. I was shocked.
Yeah.
We're in the top 10%.
I mean, podcasting isn't easy.
It ain't easy for everybody.
A lot of people jump into it thinking, I'm going to have fun with it. And you do.
Oh, sure.
It's a lot of work, but also a lot of money if you don't want to do the work, if you're hiring someone like myself. So that's
why I took out a second mortgage.
Podcast fade is what it's called.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, the rhythm section's nearing 100. Real Hernando is going to be popping over 70 soon. You're well over 100.
Mm-hmm.
I have a client, one of my OG clients. The name of the podcast is Fit Girl Magic. She just passed 300 and has not missed a week.
Wow.
I started working with her, I think, when she was in her episodes in the 40s, 50s, somewhere around there. I've been with her for a long time.
That's awesome.
She's been with me for a long time, if you will. Has not missed 1 week.
Wow.
I wish every client I ever had was that way.
I'm trying.
Because well, you're there, but I've had so many just fade out quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It happens a lot. Usually around like that 13 mark.
Yeah.
After a few months, it's like, I think I'm going to do this bi-weekly now. And then I know, okay, that's a red flag. And sure enough, eventually it just fades away.
Well, it just takes energy. It takes thought. It takes creativity.
Yes.
And it takes a passion, because if you're trying to do something for the wrong reason, you're not going to stay with it.
And early on, you don't have big downloads. It feels like you're in a vacuum. You promote it on Facebook, you might get one like. Feels like you're punching in the dark and you're getting nothing from it, so it can be discouraging.
It can be,
but you got to muscle through. With that said, that's why the rhythm section has seasons. I can't do it every week. I can't do it 52 times a year. It's just too much.
Yeah. So
we do it seasonally. Real Hernando, from the word go, when I knew I was going to start this new venture, I'm like, cost, because my business was covering all of the production of it and my time and everything. It wasn't a money generator. I'm like, I need to do this bi-weekly. It needs to be bi-weekly. 26 interviews as opposed to 52.
Sure.
It's a world of difference.
It is.
And just because you think, going weekly doubles the work, it feels like it triples it in a way. You go from 26 to 52, but it doesn't feel like you're only doubling it. It just really just ramps so much other things up. It's a huge difference.
Just to give you an idea about this, some of the listeners, I am talking to you guys out there for a second. So here's the deal. Whenever I got into this with you, especially with the Motivate thing, it really was about two things for me. One of them was about sharing another person's story that I knew would matter to them. And I think there's a lot of therapy for that. The other part to this, though, was it wasn't so much about clicks, views, likes, fame, money, anything like that. I felt like that was my opportunity. It's kind of like my gift in the sense of, I know that I have this talent, if you want to call it a talent. My wife does not agree with that. She's like, it's not a talent.
I agree.
He's talking all the time, so much words, go somewhere else. She uses that voice.
I agree with you.
Thank you. And so I'm like, you know what? I should probably just pursue that. And there wasn't like a determined timeline or some kind of pinnacle that I needed to reach before I could say, all right, well, if I'm not at this point, then I won't do this. It was just like, I'm going to do this until it doesn't make sense. And when I started out, I was having to call around and try to find some guests and stuff. And then I started getting some really influential people coming in, some people sharing some very deep stories. I mean, look, we can go back to Jim Purdy, the Navy SEAL guy. That was like one of the deepest, hardest hitting stories ever. And whenever I didn't have that moment of panic, because I felt like, whoa, that was a heavy one. And I didn't feel panic. I'm like, man, I can do this thing. I can do this. And now here it is. And I say this with complete humility. My list of people, you would say 52 interviews in a year is usually daunting. I am pleased and thankful to say I'm having to whittle down to 52.
Yeah.
And it's because of the influx and people see the value. And that makes me feel good knowing that I am producing a product that I know this is a little too serious probably for Cannonballing, but it's just a reflective moment, us talking about podcasting. And it's like, man, you know what? I get 4, 5, 6 messages a week.
Yeah.
Hey, look, have you ever thought about this? Here's a person you should consider. And
which is great because
very humbling.
They're paying attention.
Absolutely.
They're feeling it.
Yes. Yes.
Yep. So that's awesome.
Yeah. So,
man, we're in the top 10, top 10%.
Can I talk about a guest that's coming up?
Go for it.
Dude, and when I'm talking about this guest that's coming up, there are moments that you have a person come on and I have common ground. Okay. Even if you're a mayor, you and I a mayor probably has some common ground. Maybe they played sports, they coached, whatever. There's moments we can discuss. This person is a cyborg, so it's only going to go with AI. I'm going to have to get an AI generator next to me and let them talk to this individual because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It is an ultra marathoner that did A 200-mile run. If you are listening to this podcast and you are saying 200 miles, that's not a big deal. You're crazy. You're crazy. I'm telling you. 200 miles, Derek.
And we booked that, right?
Yes, it's booked.
So, yeah, we're filming that later.
It'll be May 20th, I think.
Well, that's when we're filming it.
That's when we're filming, so
it'll be out in June somewhere.
Probably.
Yeah.
And it's just, when I think about 200 miles, that's driving from Memphis to Nashville.
Yeah.
I have to gear up to drive there. I'm going to have 3 P breaks. Do you hear me?
I mean, this is me.
That's
not happening.
I get it, right? How does your legs manage
Sound
that?
insane.
I know. It's like 200 miles in a month. Can I walk that many? Miles in a month? No. This not in consecutive. It's like she did it in consecutive.
I wonder how many steps that is.
Man, I don't know. Fitbit would be like, screw this. I'm leaving.
I hope it was Savannah.
It's a she.
She, and she's already done it, right?
She's done it.
Ask her, hey, did you have a Fitbit? And did it catalog how many steps?
Yeah, I will. I mean, I've got so many questions. This might have to be a 2-parter, to be honest with you. How do you get enough questions? She ran 200 miles. I got 200 questions.
Part 1's the first 100 miles.
That's
Part
it.
2 is the second 100 miles.
Jeez, that is not humanly. Man. I can't wrap my head. 100 miles is like, God. I did a 50.
Yes.
Okay, 50 miles was very taxing. At the end, we talked about I had some booty heel problems. All of a sudden, everything tightened up, had some pain down to my kneecap. I didn't know what was happening.
Lost some toenails.
Toenails fell off. That was 50. And now imagine getting to 50 and be like, I'm quarter of the way home.
I'm going to do this 3 more times.
3 more times.
Man.
Yeah,
it's going to be a fun one.
I don't cuss on the air, but I thought about one just then. It's crazy. That's crazy. So anyways, that's coming up. And when I saw the AI stuff, I was like, maybe she had an AI person running because 200 miles is so long. So you guys want to tune in June, definitely catch that. Her first name's Savannah, and pretty incredible story. Hey, look, you know what happened this past week?
What happened this past week?
Something that is a monumental moment. There are those things that happen in the world that is a staple in time. You just put the staple on it because that is a moment.
Yeah.
The Pope passed away.
Pope.
Did you know that?
Pope Francis, right?
I think they're all Francis now. Pretty sure they're all Francis. They take on the name Francis.
The first one from Central America, I believe.
Oh, I missed that part. Well, then you're more educated.
I could be wrong. I could be getting this wrong. Where's our fact checker?
I don't know.
Do we have a fact checker back here?
Probably somewhere.
No,
They'll send an email. Yeah.
I need AI assistant fact checker.
Oh, man. Maybe you could set that up. Probably on Siri. Pope Francis from Central America.
But anyways, yeah.
She's not talking to me.
But I know there was some things about Pope that was the Pope that was unprecedented. That was a first for a bunch of things. And I'm talking way out of my league.
Me too.
To those people that are listening that know more than us, shocking. A lot more people like know a lot more than what we know.
No doubt about it. Well, I'm not Catholic, and I'm not saying you got to be Catholic to know about the Pope, but obviously people that are devout Catholics are going to have be educated better on that. Yeah. But you think about what that title means. You don't say the President of the United States. Well, maybe you could, but you don't usually introduce them that way, or the Prime Minister it's Prime Minister so and so. But when you get the name the and the Pope, you know that you're one word.
That's it.
You're a one-word person.
Pope.
The Pope right there. It's like the Pope. How do you you're looking at home, you're like, all right, Francis the 30th has passed. My resume looks good. I'm putting my resume in. How do you even think to yourself you would be qualified to do that position? Can you imagine?
Yeah.
That is, I'm not making light of that. I'll be for real. But it's like, you're for real.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? If I wanted to put my name in for manager or something, sometimes I question it.
Yeah.
But you sitting at the house, you're going to have something. I did that. Save them people from a flood. Yeah, I think I'm good. I mean, and if you're the people on the panel and you're looking, you're like, you did a lot of good stuff, but sorry, not going to happen.
No,
not happening. That's just a tough position.
Yeah, I mean,
so many people around the world. This is not even a nationwide.
No, this is
global. Worldwide.
Yeah.
Anyways, when I started looking at that and thinking about it, blew my mind. I thought I'd talk about it on the show because that is a big opening. That's a big responsibility.
So did they replace him yet?
No, there's a process. And again, this goes back to the lack of education on it, but there's a process they go through.
Was there talk about him being ill?
Well, he had been sick. I didn't know that. And he had kind of went back and forth a few times at the hospital, and they didn't think he was going to make it. Then he comes back, and he's doing better. And then he did the last blessing at the Easter the day before. And so he made it to his last event thing that he was going to do in the next day.
So he made it till Easter. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that was a motivating factor for him.
I would imagine so.
I'm sure he was not feeling very well at all, but he probably was motivated to just hang on for Easter.
Yeah. But that just the captivated thought to me was, a kid in America might say, I think when I get older, I'll be the governor of a state. And you think to yourself, you're probably not going to be the governor because that's a big position, but it's not that big.
I know I won't be.
And then you'd be like, maybe I'll be a senator. There's only 52 of them. You're probably not going to be a senator either. And then any kid would be like, I think I'll be the president of the United States. You'd be like, no, that's a big one. Who grows up saying, one day I'd like to be the Pope? There ain't not a person, not a single person could even have that dream.
And God bless you if you are that person.
My goodness, you got to be some kind of something. Anyways.
Well, let's shift gears here to something really different. Okay. And it's a pet peeve, I guess.
It could be.
Conversation. Who here, to those watching and listening, who likes hearing someone smack while eating?
Oh, God.
No one likes that. Mm-mm. Nobody does.
Nobody.
Quit your smacking. I mean, you tell your kids that all the time, right?
Right.
You had a situation where you...
oh, Derek.
So what's going on there? Look, what happened here?
I don't want to be explicit. I'm not going to be explicit, but I'm going to be descriptive. Is there a difference?
No, I don't know.
Probably is. I don't know. I hope so. So anyways, I'm sitting in a waiting room. Okay, first of all, when you're in a waiting room, there's a couple of things in a waiting room that are probably taboo as societal norms, at least in America. I don't want to speak for the world. I know people watch us over in Ireland, as an example. I don't know what y'all's norms are. Here in America. I had that hat on last week. One of the social norms is you don't want to turn your phone on speaker and talk loud into your phone. That's just, you don't do that.
Especially when you're in line at Starbucks.
That's not cool.
I don't need to hear your conversation.
Don't need that. Another thing, people watching through social media, like on TikTok, got their phone at a 12 and they stop on a video and you're in, and it's like 12 people and you're looking around. That's annoying in itself too. Okay. But there are certain things that are grotesque. Mm-hmm. I'm in the waiting room the other day and there's an elderly lady and I'm going to put her at 80 years old, at least 80 years old. First of all, I'm thinking, why are you in a chiropractor office at 80? Do you know you probably got osteoporosis?
Very brittle.
Somebody just going to crack one bone and it's going to be all 206.
You're going to turn into dust.
This is not a good idea. I wanted to suggest that. I was like, this is not a good spot for you. You should probably rethink all of this that's happening. But then what happened next, I was like, you know what? You made your own choices because now I have to deal with what you've just put on me. Mm-hmm. That's what's going on. Yeah. She had some kind of lollipop sucker. And she was wearing that thing out. My God.
I mean, you could hear her from across the room.
Dude, it was.
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, please, God, what is that? What is that? No, please, no. And I turn and I see, and then it's not even just the sound, it's the visual. And then it takes you to a place you don't want to go. And you're like, no, I don't want that. Now you got a vision in your head and you're like, I need all of this washed out immediately. Somebody get a pressure washer.
Did you say, ma'am, quit your smacking?
I was actually looking at her. My jaws were tight. I felt like throwing up. I got nauseous all of a sudden. And she just wearing that thing. It's so much so and so much into the moment and so unaware of her social existence on this earth. When the person came out from the back to call her name, she had to do that, like, I got to catch my breath moment. I'm doing pretty good. Why?
Why?
No good, bad. I used to work in an office. When I was in the Air Force, I got injured a few times, and I had to do some office time where you're sitting in an office room. We got cubicles. And there was this one lady that worked in there. And every day at lunch, when she finished, she was a tooth sucker. She would, I'm like, bro, get a toothpick, get a water pick. Do something else than that. It's so. I actually have a picture of me I had taken every day at lunch. I finally took a picture. I actually have it in a photo album. I'm that guy. And the tissue, and I'd wrapped it up in the balls and I'd stick it in my ears. So I was trying not to hear it. It was so bad. Yeah. It was so
smacking,
bad.
Man. When someone's smacking. My grandmother used to smack and I used to be like, Mama, can you quit that? But my buddy, Jeff Ward, co-host of the Rhythm Section.
He's a smacker?
Well, there was one episode. It's out there by now. It was during an interview. And we made it funny on the show because I called him out
Oh.
on the show.
Yeah.
But the guest is talking, and I hear. But even worse, he had a peppermint in his mouth, so it was hitting his teeth and
clanking.
And typically when you're watching, and to the viewers here, when you're watching someone speak, you kind of like lean into the mic.
Yeah.
And just sit there in front of the mic. But sometimes they catch breathing and and that's gross too.
Zone
And
out
I'm guilty of breathing into the mic as well. But Jeff's posted right up on the mic. So finally, like, Jeff, what are you doing over there? He's like, what? And I was like, get that peppermint out of your mouth. And it became a funny thing.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, everyone's hearing you smack. And imagine someone wearing earbuds listening. That's why, to the young podcasters out there, if you ever want to start, do not eat on the show. Our friend Downtown Bruno,
That man ate a bunch of chicken wings.
if you listen to him on last week's or this week's,
This past Monday. Yeah.
this past Monday, he was also on the Local Yokel. Part of his deal is he has to have some beers and hot wings on a podcast. So you got to hear some smacking and slurping. It's gross.
Occasional burping.
But a long time ago, I had a client that I had to talk to. I was like, you need to stop eating chocolate into the microphone. It's awful to the earbuds.
Yeah.
She's like, I didn't even think of that. I was like, yeah, you're turning all your listeners off by smacking and gurgling into the microphone.
Now, I want to add something to this. So I don't know if you've seen this. I was introduced to this by Maddie when she was little. So she's probably 9 or 10. They're YouTube channels. And they have these like super
ASMR
megaphone microphones that pick up everything, that catch a mouse fart in 2 rooms over. And that's what they do. They'll post a video of chewing gum or something.
It's ASMR. I forget what it stands for. I like versions of ASMR where it's tapping, scratching things. It really can give you like goosebumps.
Interesting.
It is interesting. And there's a lot of different whispering, people like that. But yeah, then there's those ASMR subgenre
called fetish.
Well, where it's the smacking of the mouth. And I can't do it.
That's a fetish thing.
It's
I'm
gross.
telling you. Those people need help. Yeah. Get it out.
The same people that like feet.
They pay pictures for that. I mean, it's like you send a picture and it's like, feet pics and dude, feet are nasty. Stop it. I mean, my toenails fell off once. You've seen it.
And I bet a lot of people, there's people out there that would have
paid money for a toenail.
Paid money for that.
Oh,
gross.
I don't want to know those people. Hey, look, you made me think about something. Like you were saying how you lean in and you watch a person. Have you ever been talking to a person? This is not rude. This is everybody's about to relate to this. Everybody's about to relate to this. And they have something, whether it's like a bad tooth or they got like a mole or maybe they got a booger hanging, and all of a sudden it's all you can look at. And you're trying not to look, and you're like talking to them and you're trying to stare past them a little bit.
Oh, dude.
I can't help it. I end up fixating.
I got a bad one.
Uh-oh, I want to hear about it.
And when someone has that spit that connects from lip to lip.
The stringy spitty.
Or in the mouth, you can tell. And again, we've had some guests on the rhythm section where it's just like you just want to cue them, hey, wipe your mouth, but there's no nice way to say that.
Right.
And you just muscle through, and we've had a couple where, and then you'd see them like close their mouth and swallow, and then it cleans it up. You're like, oh, thank God. And then 2 seconds later, it's there again. I'm like, what is going on? And that's all you can look at.
Get the little balls of spit in the corner.
Just trying to make eye contact and avoid the mouth. Yeah, that's.
Speaking of stringy spit, you know my St. Bernard. A lot of stringy spit. I even tell him. He just like hanging down his jowls all the time. I'm like, you know you look ridiculous right now, Winston. That just looks horrible.
Is he always sloppy?
He's very sloppy, very uncoordinated.
No, I'm just saying in the jowls. Is it
all the time?
Is that something he'll grow out of, or is that just part of their breed?
I think it's just his style.
I couldn't handle that.
Yeah, well, we actually will at times, especially in the evenings if he's inside with us. We'll get a paper towel and he's like wipe his mouth. Like, come here, we gotta wipe your mouth like a little kid. You know, even though I say little, he's like 85 pounds now. He's huge.
Yeah.
He's growing every night. You put him to bed, you wake up 10 more pounds. I'm like, what'd you eat? What did you just eat? Is my laundry room still there? He stays in the laundry room. He's eating a big chunk out of one of the sides of the door. It's puppy things.
Oh, so he's chewing now.
He chews on stuff. He'll carry things around.
Is he in a crate at all? You crate?
There ain't no crate big enough for this. We had to get an elephant crate. This man's so big.
It's called the garage.
Yeah. It's funny because when he started out, he was smaller than our little. We have like she's part beagle and something else. She's maybe, I'm gonna give you a guess, 14 inches tall. She's not real tall. And when it started out, Winston was a puppy, smaller. Now, lost in the shadow. She'll walk underneath, can't even see her. And like,
can't see Patches.
Can't see little Millie.
Little Millie, yeah.
Little Millie. All of a sudden, Winston is just a horse, and when he runs, it's like a gallop. Yeah. And he swims in our pool every day. He's doing laps. We have a beagle, part beagle. We have an Australian Shepherd. We've had a German Shepherd before. We always thought these would be none of those got in the pool really. This dude doing laps. If he could do his arms back, he'd do his backstroking.
He just jumps in whenever he wants?
Every single day. Every single day, without question. I have pictures of it. I don't know if we could get it on the video up here. I had a whole video of him just chilling in the hot tub like it ain't nobody's business. This is real-time live stuff. I don't know what we're doing anymore. I can't keep up. You know my mom's house is almost done, by the way. But I don't know if you could get that onto the video somehow and let people see that.
That's cute.
But dude is just in the hot tub chilling. I just look out the window and he is just relaxing. And now I understand the hot tub's not turned on, so there's no heat. It's just regular pool water right now.
He's so cute.
But he is just relaxing. So happy.
Just loves
happy.
The water.
He does.
It's going to keep him healthy.
He'll walk around in there drinking it. I'm like, dude, you ain't got to get down in the water.
Probably peeing in it.
Oh, well, probably. No different than Maddie's friends. Womp womp. Yeah. Hey, look, I want to have you ever done a practical joke on someone?
Maybe. I can't think of one good one right now.
Yeah, that's all right.
Rib and friends. Yeah,
jacking with them a little bit. Yeah. So, I told you recently, I gave the story about how I messed with Andressa and Maddie on April Fool's, right? So it was practical joke stuff, right? So if y'all missed that one, go back a couple episodes, and I tell the story of how I messed with our foreign exchange student. They were messing with me first, to be fair, though. So if you didn't watch that one, let me put it in context. They tried to play some jokes on me, didn't work out. I'm a pro.
And,
all right.
Yeah, and your payback was intense.
It's the way I roll. So this past weekend, it was actually, I think it was the weekend, which is why it's relevant to our story time. Mm-hmm. I'm watching Sports Center or something. I had it going through. Anyways, see an interview, and they're talking to Deion Sanders' son. You know, he played quarterback for the Colorado Buffaloes.
Right, and he was in the draft.
Yes.
Big story about him. He only went in the fourth round, which was not good.
He was thinking he was going to be in the first round.
They're predicting first round.
Sure.
Didn't happen.
Which and I will say this, one of the most absurd things I heard one of the congressmen in New York say was that it was racially motivated. I'm like, bro, in the world of sports, that is one area. You're the best of the best. You could have horns growing out your face. Yeah. You could be multicolored. They're paying you for your talent.
The little bit of chatter I heard out there was his interviewing was not going well.
Well, that's what I've heard.
Coaches sit down and interview you and learn more about you, this, that, and the other. They're judging your character. They're judging all kinds of different things. And I guess he can throw a good football, but they saw something in him that they didn't like.
Yeah.
So
if he was going out for WWE, I think he would have been like top notch. It'd have been like, yes, because you're a smack talker. Yeah. But that was not the case.
I think it's the name. He's the son of Deion Sanders, so he was just assumed that he was going to, whatever.
It could be true. Prime time, but that's not the story. The point of it is,
this is not a sports show.
It's not a sports show. But it was interesting to me, though, that was the argument. I was like, that is the dumbest thing in the world. But then it was the point that, he did go later in the draft that he thought he was going to go. Well, apparently, some kids now, I could be wrong on the college, but I thought I saw the story say that they were from Ole Miss, but the kid's dad's like a defensive coordinator for some other football team. So he got the number to Deion Sanders' son's phone, and he called him and pranked him about being drafted by the New Orleans Saints. You didn't see this?
No.
Man.
No.
It made its rounds. I didn't watch the whole story on it, but what was interesting was the backlash about those kids doing the joke. Now, full disclosure, would I condone that? No, that's pretty cruel. Yeah. That's a big moment in a person's life. That's next level kind of rude. But man, they went apoplectic. Like they had done some real bad stuff. And the first thing I thought of when I see those two kids getting hammered by everybody in the media about the joke, I'm not condoning the joke. Don't get me wrong. I would not say to do that, but I'm thinking immediately, you would not make it on the fire department. you remember the guys from...
I bet. And you hear about it in the wrestling community, like WWE, getting ribbed, crazy pranks. Imagine baseball teams.
Oh, dude.
In the clubhouse on the road 6 months out of the year with each other.
Some people call it hazing. Others just call it fooling around.
Just imagine the tomfoolery.
Dudes, constantly.
Yeah.
In fact, and this is a true statistic, more firemen are injured through horseplay at fire stations than through actual injuries doing the job. At least that was the statistic a couple years ago, because I'm a teacher.
And all the fire chiefs love that stat.
Oh, they love it.
Really?
They love that part of it, yes. Remember the guys from Jack Arse?
Jack Arse.
You're the only. You need one I need to talk to.
Jack Arse.
It's the attempt at not cussing.
That's a nice Southern accent.
Can you quit slinging that nasty fly swat around?
Nuttier than a squirrel turd.
At least 2 times. So you know what I'm talking about, Johnny Knoxville and all them.
Jackass.
Yes, those guys. Now those guys, you really had to be thick-skinned. Or else you were going to pay a price, dude. They jacked with people hard.
Yeah.
Hard.
Yeah, you're going to get hurt physically.
Physical. And now, some of it was chosen, like Steve-O choosing to butt chug a bunch of, there was like a goldfish involved or something. And there's he did all kind of weird, crazy stuff.
But there were plenty of moments where one of the jackass guys would be just walking around a corner and then they're just getting popped in the face by something.
Constantly.
Hard.
Yes. Bruises.
High
and
velocity.
Cuts
Yeah, like you're going to get cut. Yeah.
It's just, it was insanity. But the fire department wasn't so bad. But I thought I would share a couple of our favorite jokes. Could I do that?
Firefighter
practical
pranks.
Jokes. Yes.
Love it.
Is that okay for you?
Go.
All right, here we go.
Write this down.
So some of these are old school. Some of these were kind of revolutionary. Now, one of the old school ones was, firemen, they will put their turnouts out by the truck. So call comes in, they run, they put their feet in the boots, pull their turnout pants up. They're getting dressed in the back of the unit, the back of the fire truck because they're going to the call. Put dry packets of Kool-Aid down in the boots.
Just pour it out.
Just pour the dry packet down inside the boots. Now, when they put the boots on, they don't feel that. And
you're in a rush, right?
Well, so they're not going to feel it. They're not going to see it.
Yeah.
So they go and they get in and they pull their thing up. So then they go on the call. Well, what are you going to do while you're working?
Sweat.
You're sweating. So you're turning all that moisture down there in Kool-Aid. Their feet would be dyed blue or purple or green for weeks.
And they can... I'm sure quickly they realize, someone got me. But they can't stop and empty
You're not
their
going to
boot
stop.
out.
Yeah.
They got to go.
You got to do what you got to do.
So the whole time you're saving lives.
Yes.
You got Kool-Aid in your boot.
Can't do anything about it.
And it would stain the foot.
It stains your foot for a hot minute. Now, it doesn't put the gear at risk, doesn't put the firefighter at risk. So just for anyone out there thinking, that's not safe for our first responders, you got to understand, we're with these people 24 hours a day.
There's people out there right now that are thinking that.
I know they
are.
Yeah, no. This is the area too where it's like you got to understand a culture. Culture sometimes is you have some life and death stuff you're dealing with on a regular basis, and this high stress. And if you don't have fun with each other, then life is really going to be too stressful.
Yeah.
That's our outlet. And so now you don't mess with somebody to the point that they feel broken. You don't do it that way, but it's a pretty understood thing. And if you're at a house that everybody kind of does that.
Yeah.
Harmless, honestly. It's harmless. So another thing we did, taking it up a notch. So this other guy, we had some really large pink panties, and we put that over the turnout pants, and then you pull them down, so then you don't know until you pull them up. And I actually have a picture. I have a picture of this. He is in a house. Right, so we're right now. It was a first responder call, which was like a sick party or something. And he's in there, and I got a picture of him. He's got his pink panties on the outside of his.
He didn't notice?
He didn't know. It's not his, actually. It was ours that we found.
Oh, my God. But he never noticed?
He didn't know till we told him. And I showed him. He's like, oh, my God. So,
and then that's what makes him want to get you back.
Oh, and it's a constant cycle like that. So here's another one. Here's a good one. Let me see here. Let me see if I can pick it up because I can't really read when it's like, in the bathrooms. So we have those old industrial style toilets that, it's got like the little lever you push down. If you've ever been inside of a high school, you know what I'm talking about. And on the top of that, there's like this big nut on top of it. we'll loosen that. And so when a person flushes, it's just like a water sprinkler in there. You are covered. Now, the flip to that is if you don't want to take that kind of time is we'll wait till somebody goes in the bathroom doing business and we'll go in there with buckets and 3 or 4 of us just over the top of the thing and you're just drenched. So getting people with water buckets is probably the most common prank. And I had one of them. I had one of the most famous pranks of a bucket of water. I was on a sort team is what it's called, but specialized operations team. And Channel 3 came out and rode with us for like 2 days on calls.
Nice.
They spent the whole day and evening going on different calls and putting together a story and talking about the special operations stuff. Richard Ransom was the guy with us.
Okay.
And so then on one of the evenings, I'm talking to the camera guy. This is all real stuff. I don't know if you could go back in the archives and find it or not. And I'm telling him, he's like, what do y'all do around here to loosen up? I was like, well, we mess with each other. And I told him about the bucket of water. He goes, I'd love to get that on tape. And I said, here's what we do. Get one of the guys over here next to this pumper and do a mock interview. And while you're mock interviewing them, I'll climb up on the back and go over the top and I'll dump water on them. So that's exactly what I did. So they're talking to them, they're doing an interview, and I come over the top and boom, and they put it on the news in slow motion of the water cascading down over their head.
That's cool. The reporter was wanting to play.
And this was back in the day when you wouldn't have 5,000 complaints to the news channel about fire department just started tax dollars. They understood.
Yeah.
These are just dudes having fun, right?
Trying to keep it light.
Nothing.
Working long hours.
Nothing hurt by it.
Yeah.
Yep. A couple other quick ones. So fast. Last thing I was going to, these are all the practical joke things. So one more. This one happened to me because, just so y'all don't know, if you haven't picked up on this, Coach Camp was a bit of a jokester. It's a true story.
A jokester?
I was a jokester. I mess with people mess with me. That was normal.
Jokester.
We had this one room, and it was about 8 by 8, and we had a TV in there, and people would go in there a lot of times, turn on TV, and take a nap, which is normal while you're waiting on your next call. Some people go in there, play video games. So it's like a video game room too. So that's how they kind of decompressed in between calls. I'm sitting there watching TV, Yankees game. They know the people at the station, this was not.
They know you.
They knew I was a Yankees fan. They would jack with me if we lost, and they knew I hated spiders. So if you are out there wondering, I wonder if anybody mess with Coach Camp, dude, they jacked with me constantly. That's why I always played back too. It was fine. It was no animosity. It was all mutual. And so I'm watching my Yankees game, and about 5 or 6 times I'm throwing the breaker to the whole station, turning everything off, causing me to have to go turn everything back on, messing with my TV, and I threw some, false threats, but like, do it again and see what happens, that kind of thing. Yeah. And everybody's in the day room laughing. There's like 10 of us in the station. They're all in there laughing at me, like, what are you going to do? All of a sudden, the door starts to crack open. And they threw a smoke bomb in there. You remember the firecracker smoke bombs? And then held the door shut. Smoke building up. I'm like coughing.
And it stunk too.
Stank.
I remember those.
It stank. I'm like beating the door. I was like,
smells like an egg fart.
I'm like, I'm dying. And I'm hitting the door. And then the door flies open. So whoever was holding it took off.
Yeah.
Now, I'm coming out of there. If this was videotaped, it would be awesome. I'm sure there was billows of smoke rolling out of this room. And I go running into the day room to see who was the culprits.
Who?
Well, there's one guy sitting at the table. So we had this dinner table. And he's sitting there. And people are trying to act nonchalant like they weren't in it. So some people are up front watching the TV. He's sitting at the table and he's like... and you can see he's trying to fight back the breathing. So I'm like, and then the first thing that catches my eye on the wall was a fire extinguisher. So I just grabbed that dude off, pulled the pin, wham! It happened so fast. All he had time to do was lean back and throw his hands up. And I swear to you, I wish I had a picture. I swear to you, on the wall behind him, it looked like a cartoon where you just see the image of his head and his hands because there was just haline stuff everywhere around it. He's just plastered. In that moment, I see another guy take off running, and I'm like, that's the other one. And I take off running after him, and as he's running across the bay, he slips, slides into the lockers, and he's down, and I come up over the top. I said, I gotcha. Wham! Hit him with the rest of this. So this big fire extinguisher bottle, Haline, stuff all over the bay, all over the kitchen.
Your boss must love this.
Lieutenant walks in, not happy. Going off.
can imagine.
Going off, screaming at the top of his lungs at everybody, which then, understand, we're all a team. Everybody gets up, starts cleaning. Everybody's cleaning. And he's screaming, who is the one that did it? And I said, I did it. And he's like, go get a fire extinguisher. I said, it's 10:30 at night. How am I going to get a fire extinguisher?
Where would you go?
I didn't go anywhere.
No,
I don't know. How do you get a fire extinguisher?
Any time of day, where do you go?
I don't know. Walmart. Back now it'd be Amazon, but not back then. So I was just like, I'll get one in the morning. It's whatever. And it all died off. Everybody was like, it became legendary.
But the fact that everyone's cleaning up your mess, that makes them want to get you back.
Well, no,
so it's cyclical. Like
they
that,
weren't
right?
told to do it. We just did that kind of thing.
Yeah.
If we got into food fights, it was common at dinner. So we took turns making dinner. And if you were just feeling a little spicy, you're walking by somebody, they got their plate full, you just slap the plate up in the air, boom, food goes everywhere. And the next thing you know, and I have pictures of this, people picking up mashed potatoes, wham. And when it's all said and done, we all clean it up. Actually, I had a lieutenant once, and I won't say his name. But he told me once, he said, that's the thing I miss most about being one of the guys. Because once he made rank.
Right, you can't do that.
He couldn't do that. He goes, I miss being able to be goofy with everybody. He goes, I wish I could.
Yeah.
Because you do have to, it's like being dad all of a sudden.
You have to.
Yeah.
You're the leader.
Yeah.
You have to act a certain way. You can't entice that.
I thought our audience might like some of the behind the curtain. Now, if you're a firefighter out there, you're like, oh, every bit of that. They're probably mad. They're like, stop telling our secrets. But hey, man, it is what it is.
What happens in the firehouse stays in the firehouse.
It's family.
Yeah.
It's family. And if you ain't having fun, dude, life is too serious, and we see too much death out there.
Man,
so
if you follow wrestling, if you you watch and listen to stories from the old school wrestlers and the stuff they used to do to each other, crazy.
Yeah.
The stuff. I mean, again, they're just on the road all year, every damn day. They're in a new city with their friends, and they're just trying to kill time and have fun, and it gets monotonous. And
I think the funny part that was once mentioned to me was a friend of mine that is not on the fire department or police department or any of that kind of organizational type stuff. They were like, so the guys and girls that we count on to save our lives and put out the fires of our house, you guys are a bunch of kids?
Yeah.
I was like, absolutely, we are. We're not walking around like all stiff-legged to be like, yes, sir. I mean, bro, if you ain't relaxed and having some fun, it's too short.
Because when the bell rings,
you're ready to go.
It's all business.
It's all business.
And a line of business that most would never understand. The amount of pressure,
if you haven't
and
done
stress,
it's hard to imagine.
And what it does to your psyche. I mean, you're going from 0 to 100 like that.
Hey,
it's
look,
go time.
And I feel like it didn't have much of an effect on me.
Okay, Max Edger.
Let's go. That's fun stuff, man.
Yes, it's full circle callback to Max Edger.
Yep.
Well, we got through it, didn't we?
I think we did. And your color is coming back.
I hope so.
Maybe
I'm sorry
it was our conversation.
for the coughing. I've tried to hit my mic button to turn it off, but you can still hear it in the background.
I apologize for carrying the conversation, but I knew you weren't feeling well.
No, that's fine.
So I was like, you know what? I'll just roll it.
Look, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. This is the coach show. I'm your sidekick, kind of facilitating.
You're the pretty face.
No, that's sure. Yeah, I'll take that.
You bring that.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Hello.
Boom.
So,
but yeah, man, go to motivatewithcoachcamp.com and seriously check out that website. Everything you need to know about Coach. That website is the reason why you got that keynote.
True story.
Right? Someone Googled.
Found me.
Someone Googled looking for a speaker. Boom, they found Coach.
Love it.
Went to the website, loved what they saw. It got the gig.
Yep, and you know what I think? I think that somebody out there needs to have that moment where they say, I want to start a podcast. Where can I do that? And I know a place they could go.
That's right, SRP Studios LLC.com.
That's exactly where I would tell them to go.
I just took it from you.
You did.
I took your thunder.
I like it. I'm the lightning. Oh, get it out, baby. Oh, hello. You know what you need? You need a positive voice, and you can get that on a Positive Voices group on Facebook.
Positive Voices.
Hey, if somebody out there right now is thinking, I want to talk to them.
Cannonballinglife@gmail.com.
You held it. I didn't know if you were going to make it. That's good. And you can always donate, of course, to Motivate with Coach Camp on the Venmo. Look, I'm going to say something, Derek. I love doing this every week. Thank you for fighting through, brother.
Yeah, we're good.
It's
we're
tough.
good. We can't miss a week, man. We can't.
Well,
now I got to immediately edit this, so it's out
So
in time
fast.
for you folks every Friday morning.
Yeah.
Apple, Spotify, and YouTube.
what's their day to edit? I think we hit it perfect,
right,
baby.
well.
Bye-bam.
See y'all next week.
Holla.
Bye.
We did it.